Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching that reel I put together. This video is going to focus on Dehancer. If you don't know what Dehancer is, it's a plugin, a tool that you can use for videos, photos, and more. It's kind of like putting a preset on your photos in Lightroom, except you have the same option in DaVinci, Premiere, any editing software of your choice. Now, what's really awesome is I am not a professional colorist. I'm a busy person. Everything that I've picked up in the world of cameras and photography, videography has just been from learning from the next person. You know, I didn't have the luxury of growing up and having parents that were into cameras or family members. My first camera that I picked up was a few years ago that I bought for YouTube, and it was a photography camera, you know, so I am not so much a professional in this sense, especially in the world of color science, although there are a lot of people who are. That's not me. So that's where Dehancer comes in. If you enjoy this video and if you like what Dehancer can do for you after seeing, there is a code that's going to be in the description, Flixroy, Flixroy. That'll give you 10% off, and yeah, hope you enjoy. So let's get right into it. So this is DaVinci Resolve. I've been using DaVinci Resolve for a little while now. What you're gonna find here is these are, of course, log. You're gonna notice I've started in this one, but these are log footage files. And so it's going to be very gray. Now, again, if you're not a professional colorist, this is where Dehancer can help you. So Dehancer is an emulation film stock that allows you to, instead of fumbling around with all of these tools here that you see DaVinci has, which are great, but take some time to learn for sure, you're gonna have the option for something like Dehancer. So Dehancer, what I'm gonna do to bring it up, let's go to our first clip over here. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna press this FX button at the top right here. This is going to bring open all of the tools that I have through DaVinci Resolve. Now, typically, these are going to be more so effects and things of that nature. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom after installing Dehancer, you're going to have this Dehancer Pro 7.3.1. Now, this is the newest version. You'll find it on their website. In this space right here, this is where you would typically have your node tree. So I'll show you one over here. This is a node tree that I have built. CST is color space transform. That means it's taking the gray that you would typically have in this kind of footage and allows you to press the button here and allows you to convert it, color space transform, convert it from this gray to what it should actually look like or close enough to it coming out of your camera. So I'm pressing this one right here. It's going to do and undo all of my adjustments here. You notice I haven't really done too much. So CST is color space transform. EXP is my exposure. So if I felt like I didn't expose the image correctly in real life, then I can come in here and mess around with it. White balance, same idea. Didn't do the white balance correctly in person. I can do it here. Saturation, this is not doing too much. Just small tweaks that I would typically do normally. And then you're gonna have Dehancer here at the bottom. So Dehancer, I haven't done too much to it, which is why when I press the button here, it gets a little darker, but nothing crazy. That's just because I wanna actually go in and mess around with it with you guys here on camera, all right? So let's go ahead. I'm gonna let's click on this video right here. I think this scene was pretty cool. I'm gonna go to my other clip right here where I kinda started. And I'm actually gonna remove the Dehancer from it completely. All right, so this is true, just straight out of camera. I know it looks pretty cool. It's only because it was blue hour at the beach and this kid's doing a pretty okay job on his little wakeboard. So looks pretty sick, right? I'm gonna copy my standard adjustments, you know, Command C on a MacBook. And let's head over to, actually I wanna see what this one looks like. So I'm gonna Command V. Now again, this is a standard color space transform. exposure, white balance, saturation, you know, typical stuff that you would do. But then I'm gonna add another node over here. You can right click, add node, and then I'm gonna name this Dehancer. I'm gonna put it on the end of the clip here. Gonna kind of move these over. Make sure this attaches here, cool. Now again, I'm gonna press the FX at the top here. And if I go down here, I can add Dehancer to this node, okay? Now by default, Dehancer's chosen one for me already. This is okay. I don't really love how it looks, and it's very grainy, but you know, depending on the scene, that might look pretty cool. But this is where you get to come in and make a ton of adjustments. Now, I have a MacBook M3 Pro, 18 gigabytes of memory or RAM, and it's pretty good, but sometimes with something like Dehancer, and this is just a testament to how powerful it is, it actually is gonna slow down my computer a little bit. When I hit play, I don't know if you can hear that. Little choppy. So what I found is something that's doing that is a grain. So if I scroll down to film grain and I deselect it, of course it's going to adjust my image, but it's also now playing back smoothly. My shoes were floating away in the water here. I didn't even realize. Now, something else you can do, instead of getting rid of the grain, because maybe you want to see what you're actually doing, and the grain does add a lot of character to it, what you can do is you can go up top here, select playback, timeline playback resolution. Sometimes I nix that and put it at quarter. And now it's playing back at a quarter of what the full resolution is, but it allows me to have a lot of these tools and features and things on the video without me needing to deselect and select anything, whereas it may actually adjust my image, right? So I'm gonna full screen this again, go ahead and play it. It's playing back smoothly. Of course, it looks like it's less quality because we've just messed around with the timeline playback resolution. But yes, let's see if I can put that playback resolution maybe at half. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so now this is where we can actually mess around with the footage, right? This is where we can decide what we want this to look like. I did not mean to do that. Alrighty, so film, this is where you're gonna go to change the actual film that you have here. As you'll notice, there's a ton, and it really does depend on what you're looking for, right? If I'm looking for some crazy sepia style image, I can go to Svema, S-Vema, maybe the S is silent, Vema, type 42, I don't know. Let's go to Roly, and I'm not a film guy, so if I am butchering these names, deal with it. Kodak Portra 160 is pretty standard, 160 NC, Portra 400, some of these I know. Let's go to Fujifilm Instax, Fujicolor Pro. Let's roll with Cinestill 50D. I think this looks kind of cool for the image. And what I'm gonna do here now is I can mess around with each of these from DaVinci if I want to. CST, exposure, white balance, saturation, yada, yada, yada. But you guys probably know how to do this if you're on DaVinci already. Well, again, the benefit and the really cool thing about Dehancer is they have all of those tools specifically catered to the actual film stock that you're messing around with. Now, let's go through these one by one and then see what we can do to our image, okay? So input, Rec 709, that's what I've actually recorded and then converted the color space to, Rec 709. Then I'm gonna go down here to exposure comp, okay? So if I mess around with here, you're gonna see my image gets lighter and darker. Now, if you've exposed this pretty well in camera, you're probably not going to mess around with your exposure too much unless you're looking for, like, again, a very like specific dedicated look. Temperature, of course, is going to get a little bit warmer, a little bit cooler. Now, the base image here, right? Let's go ahead and turn off Dehancer. The base image was pretty warm. The pink in the image looks pretty cool. Let's turn Dehancer back on. And it made it a little bit brighter, a little bit cooler. Maybe I want to bring some of that back in, right? There we go. Okay, now tint. I don't really want to mess around with the tint too much, but this may look pretty cool for some images. I'm going to bring it a little bit to the right, a little pink here. Also, it's going to depend on what song I put back here too, right? If I put Pink and White by Frank Ocean, we might be going to this side over here, you know what I mean? Just gives it that stylized look. It's pretty cool. Now defringe, you notice you probably can't see it too well because the image is very small, but this is just gonna kind of muddy up the image, okay? I'm gonna leave that as is. We can go ahead and close input. I'm done here. Film, we've chosen the film already. Push pull. You notice if I'm going up or down here, it's affecting it. I kind of like a little bit more to the right here as well. Let's get a little fun. Again, let's see what we've done so far. I'm gonna deselect Dehancer. Select it again. Okay. Film developer, don't really mess around with this entirely too much. Some of these, I'm not gonna lie, this is where I get to be honest. A lot of these I don't touch. Input for sure, film for sure, but film developer, not gonna happen. Film compression, don't know what that is. Okay, expand. Now this is gonna be kind of important. You'll see black point, white point, color mode normal, Luma, then leave it on normal. Black point, you're gonna see my image get affected a lot here. Now, I am a photographer, that's why I know what a lot of these things mean. I do video as well, but again, that's not like my background. But you'll notice black point, of course, it's increasing the black in the image. I could turn it all the way up here. Looks horrible, but I can turn it all the way up here. It's adjusting my image. I'm gonna reset that and just leave it as is. White point, same idea. It's gonna bring up all the white in the image. Gonna bring that back to where it was as well. Let's close expand. Print, don't touch print. Color head, don't touch film grain. Now film grain, again, that's what you see on this image right now. Now this looks kind of cool, and let's see if we can do the playback in full resolution just so you can get a real good look at it. This does look pretty cool. This is with Dehancer on. This is with Dehancer off. Obviously an extremely clean image with the Dehancer off, but it's 2025, you know, we are putting film on everything. So let's throw that back on here. Boom, okay, cool. Film grain, I can really make it grainy. I can't see a thing, but might be your thing, I don't know. You might enjoy it, I don't. I'm gonna put it back on 35. That's the default setting. Halation, this is kind of cool. There are not too many bright lights in this image, I guess you could say, but that's what halation does. It adds that nice, like, cool glow. Let's actually go, I'm gonna remember how to copy here. I'm gonna copy this by clicking on the actual scene that we're editing, Command C, just so I can show you some halation. I'm gonna come over to this scene where there's the sun, right? I'm gonna Command V, so paste the image. Looks pretty cool. I would definitely edit this a little bit. Of course, I changed my settings in the actual camera, but we're looking at this so we can mess around with some halation. So of all these, I'm gonna come over down to halation. It's not on right now. I'm going to enable it. Watch what it does to the sun over here, okay? Off, on, off, on. Okay, I'm gonna amplify it. You can also change these, just kind of how intense it is. I'm gonna zoom into the sun over here. Disabled, enabled. Don't know if you could really tell, but all the bright, like, aura, the highlights around things, it just becomes a little bit more emphasized. So I don't really use that. It's typically like a little bit more noticeable at night if you have a bright light or neon light or something like that. Really shows, but something here, you don't see it too much. But let's go ahead and leave it disabled. Bloom kind of blurs, just like halation kind of like makes the glow heavier. The bloom is going to go ahead and, like, how can I say? Just like, it blooms it up. That's what it does. So enables, you're gonna see here the clarity in the actual sun. You see when it's enabled, disabled, enabled, disabled. Again, some scenes are a little bit more noticeable, but The heck is that sound? Anyways, some scenes are a little bit more noticeable. In some scenes, this may look pretty cool. You don't see it here, okay? Film damage, I think that's just how, like, yeah, we're gonna leave that alone. Film breath, leave that alone. Gate weave, overscan, vignette. Okay, this is, I know what vignette is. I can tell you about vignette. Vignette is, because I'm a photographer, I know this. That's like the darker areas around the edges. So imagine right over here and here in this video, if I put some vignette and take it away, or do the reverse, bring it back. Hey, bring it back. Hey. It's going to adjust my image. Now, I don't really love vignette. I think there is definitely a way to use it, and there's a time and place for it, but a lot of people just kind of go crazy with it. It's a style. I don't think many people use it too much anymore, but vignette, there's a way to do it. God damn. Excuse me. It's literally 4 a.m. There's a way to do it where it does look really, really cool, but I don't do it. So I'll show you vignette. If is it enabled? It's not enabled. It's enabled right here. Okay, so now look at the corners of the image. I'm gonna go this way. You see how it looks kind of dark? And if I'm like, I don't know, this looks like post-apocalyptic kind of. I can increase the size or decrease it. I'll leave that one where it was. Feather, this just makes like that vignette a little bit harder or softer, right? If I want to increase how noticeable it is, then I could bring down the feather or, you know, go the other way. Gonna reset that to where it was, but this is vignette. That's the opposite. Vignette, but there it is right back. Let's just hit the reset button here. All right. You can actually go ahead and disable that completely. Monitor, you can mess around with false color to see like what is exposed and underexposed. I didn't even know that was on here, bro. That is crazy. How do they have false color on it? Wild. Incredible. Dehancer is great. Output, LUT generator, options. All right, so as you notice, again, I will emphasize, I am not a colorist. I am not a specialized color grader, but what I can do here is I can take an image that I kind of like and I can completely change it. So we went from like GTA 3 vibes, like, I don't even know what this was. Actually, what's crazy is I thought I liked it so much, and then I put Dehancer on it, and now it's like cool, right? This is like a cool pink. Went from like GTA 3 to like Vice City. Like, I like this. This looks pretty cool. Yeah, that's it. So I can go ahead and take this. I'm gonna see what this looks like on all of the clips. Again, click on my image, Command C. I'm gonna Command V this up here. Ooh, looks pretty sick. I'm gonna Command V this right here. Because this is a little overexposed, I could see it already, like my colors are kind of lost. I would probably go in here and edit that a bit, but Command V here, just some more pink. There's this guy riding, but oh, this is cool right here. Pretty sick. This is actually drone footage, so I don't know how that's gonna look. Not too bad. This is the blue hour that was already pretty cool looking without any real editing, but I'm gonna add that in there. See, it's got a little pink going on. The fellas, look at the fellas right here. That's pretty sick. They're a little orange, so I would go in here and maybe edit that out, but looks pretty cool, man. Again, this is without Dehancer. Like in real life, looks good. Looks really good. Looks like kind of like a movie, right? But we don't want this image. We want something cool. We want something really stylized. Nah, these guys look pretty cool, right? And then lastly, another scene right here, a little overexposed for sure. Ski. Oh, bird was a paid actor. Where'd that bird go? Let's watch that together. I look like I'm contemplating life. Look at that bird. That's cool. All right, and then I'm recording for like Instagram or something on my phone, clearly. But yeah, so that's Dehancer. It is an awesome tool that you have at your leisure if you hit the link in my bio or the caption or my Instagram, FLIXROY. Yeah, so these things are great. Being able to edit things after the fact, after you've recorded, after you've said, oof, you know what, I like how this looks, but let's see if I could like it a little bit better, right? Being able to do that after the fact with Dehancer is incredible. It takes, especially again, if you don't have the time to learn, of course you can get your image really dialed in if you do, and I encourage you to if you do. But if you don't have the time to learn, Dehancer's got your back. And me too, with the code. Go use that. All right, I'll see y'all at the next one. I was gonna reach for the camera, but it's way too far.